members of our community, and that we are together in as a community to have conversations. I want to spend a little time just talking about some of the amazing things that we're doing in District 25. But then this opportunity is really for you, our community members, to ask me questions about anything that we're doing as a district, and then also to talk about things that we're doing well. Give me some feedback and suggestions on things that we can improve upon, and talk about any advice that you have for me moving forward as we begin an amazing 2022-2023 school year and emerge from a pandemic. So we're very excited to be here tonight with all of you. For those of you who don't know me, I am DiMango, the District 25 Superintendent. And joining me here tonight are also some community leaders. We have John Lewis, State Senator, welcome. We also have some of our amazing building leaders. I want to first start off by thanking Principal Jill Leakey for hosting us here tonight. Thank you, Ms. Leakey. I see that Ms. Deborah Arrigo is here tonight, Principal of PS 32. Welcome, Ms. Arrigo. And Mr. Chabot, Assistant Principal of MS 379. So thank you, Mr. Chabot, for being here. And our parents, as well as our parent coordinator. Thank you, Maria, for being here tonight. One of the things that my office did, which was really wonderful, and I want parents to pay attention to this, is we have a new DOE communication tool that both your principal as well as my office are able to send email blasts and texts out to you, informing you of immediate information about your school as well as meeting dates. So I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Louis Latito, who sent out blasts to the entire district, all 21,000 families, and we have a few people here tonight, and I'm really excited about that. So this is the first of many listening and learning tours that I will be hosting. Some of them will be virtual, but others will be live. And I do encourage our community to come out and to meet me live. I'm really happy that we are together in person, and I am going to encourage that for the remainder of the school year. So before I give everyone an opportunity to ask questions, and through the webpage, Louis, they can't ask questions tonight, can they?
They could chat.
They can chat? Okay. So if there's any questions or concerns that you may have later in the evening, you can put them in the chat and Louis will read them out loud to me. Okay. But I want to just spend a little time talking about who we are as a district and the work that we're engaging in this year. So here's a big heartfelt thank you to PS 29 for having us here this evening. And I want our community members to know the different ways to contact us. So parents, if you're here, you can take a picture of this slide, but it'll also be available on our website. But we are available to you 24/7. You can call, text, and leave a voicemail to 347-850-3048. You can email us at contact@d25.nyc. Visit our website to send a message at www.d25.nyc/contact, or you can message us on social media at NYC Schools D25 on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So this is District 25's vision statement. Strong and strong schools. You hear me talk about this all the time. One thing that I love about this is this vision statement was formed together with families, students, building leaders, and teachers. And what we talked about is if you see all of our schools within the roots of the tree, it is who we are as a learning community. We learn with, for, and from one another. So we come from many roots, and our strength comes from many roots, and we grow together to be better for our communities and our students. But this also has a double meaning. We value the diversity of Queens, and District 25 is one of the most diverse communities in Queens. And we talk about from many roots, from many cultures, from many communities, we grow together in service of students to make better schools. And when we learn from each other, it makes us smarter and we contribute to the world to become global citizens. So we're very excited to present this to you tonight. We also talk about our value of empowering learners. The expectations is that our students have a voice and a say in what they're learning. We'll talk a little bit about some of the ways we do that, how we embrace differences from different perspectives, and how we provide access for all and opportunities for all of our students. Our mission and mission statement is listed here. It really does talk about a lot of the things that I have just said. So I want our College Park community to know that we started off strong. Here's some pictures of our principals and our schools working hard to welcome our students back to school. They had some wonderful welcome back ceremonies. PS 120 had somebody walking on stilts as kids were coming into the door. Bell Academy 169 had an ice cream truck early in the morning that was really exciting, so we got the kids all sugared up before they came to school. You see Miss Tiffany Neely, our principal at 165, she couldn't wait to hug the kids and they couldn't wait to hug her back. But also I know that Miss Leakey had a very special welcome back ceremony for her children as well. We saw the joys in the kids' faces, really excited to come back to school. We are often recognized by our DOE community. And during the first 2 weeks of school, there were a lot of people that wanted to come and visit us. So our chancellor came to PS 244, and 2 of our deputy chancellors visited our school. And last week, we had our comptroller come visit and spend some time with students. We were excited for that. So I'm really excited to tell our families that District 25, as part of the reorganization, has a new team that is here in support of our communities, and I will introduce them to you tonight. So, Louisa, can you do that? Oh, I can click it? Oh, you changed it? Okay. Okay, so, meet the District 25 team, AKA Team Awesome. So last night I changed my picture, and I don't even like this picture either, so we have to change that tomorrow. I know, I'm just gonna keep going until I like it. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I am DiMango, the District 25 Community Superintendent. Dr. Michael D'Antona, he's right here. Dr. D'Antona, should wave to everyone. He's our Deputy Superintendent. Beverly Mitchell, she is our new Executive Director of School Support and Operations. She is supporting our schools in student services, as well as facilities. Then we have Louis Latito, who you know. We are also very lucky to have instructional people that are only supporting District 25 schools, something that we haven't had in a long time. So we have Debbie Winkler, our teacher development and evaluation coach, Anna Arrigo, Angelique Hewitt, and Melinda Willens are our instructional leads. We have Michelle Lee, who just started today. So excited. She's our multilingual learner services administrator. She's going to be supporting all of our schools with our language programs, our TDE, dual language, and all other bilingual programs, and also supporting our teachers who support our new language learners. So one of the things that I really push for, and I'm so excited to have Michelle, is District 25 has over 6,000 English language learners. And we always say in District 25, if you are a teacher in District 25, you are a teacher of English language learners. And now we have somebody who's going to give direct supports to our teachers in supporting our students. So I'm really excited about that. We have Arifa Khan and Danielle Bergman. They are our academic intervention service coordinators, helping our schools ensure that they're providing the right MTFF and RTI services for our students. Diana Stein is our instructional lead for health and wellness and physical education. If you look at this PowerPoint on our website, they all have, all of their email addresses are listed. So if anyone has questions or concerns for any of the District 25 staff, please feel free to reach out to them. We have Tracy Vaughn, who is our Academic Policy, Performance, and Assessment Director. She helps keep our schools in compliance with their scheduling to make sure that our students are taking the right classes, but also to make sure that all of our students who have IEPs are scheduled appropriately and receiving the right services, as well as our E&L students are scheduled for the right classes within our STARS program. We then have Nathan Yakubov. He is our administrator for special education. Today I was with the borough president. And one of the things that I said that is really important for our families to know is, for the first time in a long time, District 25 has someone who will be supporting our schools with special education, but he is also supporting our parents. So if you work with your schools and you're not getting the information that you need, you can reach out to Nathan. He is here to support both our schools and our families throughout the IEP process to make sure that our students are getting what they need. Richard Braun is our L compliance and performance specialist. He does the same work to support our parents of English language learners to make sure that they understand the type of learning and education that they're selecting for their students, and to also work with our schools to make sure their students are scheduled. Nathan is going to be doing a tour across the district community to talk to parents about the different language options that we have in District 25. For many years, parents felt that they had to select ESL, but we do have so many other language opportunities across our districts. And we're going to make sure through Nathan and myself that our parents truly understand all of the options and the choices that they have to support their new language learner.
Rick, not Nathan.
Oh, Rick. I know, I'm sorry. Am I calling him Richard?
Nathan.
I called him Nathan, I'm sorry, I do that all the time. I also called Nathan Ivan the other day, I'm sorry. I have a new team, it's gonna take me some time. Rick, sorry, thank you. We have Wing-Yi Chung, who is here today. Wing-Yi, yay! Wing-Yi is our school social worker. She supports our schools with social, emotional, health, and wellness, and she also supports family in connecting them to the right services that they need to support their learners. Yes. Okay. And then we have Esther Maludo. Esther's here tonight. Yay, Esther in the pink. Esther is our family leadership coordinator. I tell all of our families, please know, not only does Esther support all of our parent coordinators, but she is here to support families. When you call my office and you speak to Esther, you are also speaking to me. I am all over the district, but believe me when I tell you, she will call me to let me know any parent's concern. She will not let me go home for the day or evening without making sure that if she spoke to you that day, she's reaching out to me to get you an answer. So please know, when you call my office, if I am not there, they will transfer you to Esther, and she will do her best to make sure she can answer your question. But if you need the answer from me, she will make sure she gets in touch with me. Marissa Martin, Marissa is here. Hey, Marissa. Marissa's been setting up my listening and learning tours, making sure that I'm here on time. She also works with, as a community liaison, connecting me to some of our community-based organizations, our business owners that support our schools, as well as our elected officials. And Marissa is also in charge of sustaining digital communications and social media platform, as well as building our principal and assistant principal leadership pipeline. And then Janet Ayala Capo is my administrative assistant. Wow, it's hot in here now. Or am I the only one hot? Okay, so. Okay, let me go through this quickly. So, my listening and learning tour 90-day plan is available both here and online for those of you who are interested in exploring it more deeply. I'm going to go over it briefly tonight. It really talks about the things that we've always valued and the ways we're going to continue to do that work and to strengthen it as we emerge from the pandemic. It is a focus on excellence in terms of rigorous instruction and high-level opportunities for our students around supporting our vision of equity and diversity, building capacity in safety and wellness for our students. Many of them are coming to schools. I told a story last night about my daughter who, she worked at summer camp this year, and she worked with younger kids. And my daughter herself, being in middle school, going into high school during the pandemic, was struggling just in terms of being able to see her friends and then not seeing them anymore. But she said to me, Mom, you know, when I worked with kindergarten or first and second graders, one of the things that I saw was that they were struggling just in terms of things that I had an opportunity to learn about how to play, about what is fair, about how to be kind and how to make friends. You know, all of those things you learn in schools. So we are really focused on making sure that students have those opportunities and experiences in school. We want them and we want you to know that learning and focusing on learning is a huge part of what we do, but it's also about making sure that our kids have fun and that they're growing together. And then once again, about empowering our learners. Every time I go to a school, I plan on meeting with students to hear their voice, to hear about what they're learning, and to make sure that their social emotional needs are met. Okay, my listening learning tool, you can check to see where I am using www.d25.nyc/events. So one of the things that we started off together, so I spoke with all of my principals, assistant principals, and teachers. The second day that all of our adults came back to school, I did a State of the District address where we talked about our expectations. And our expectations for this year is starting off strong. You see the muscles in our trees, and Dr. D'Antona and I are sitting on them. So what makes our roots strong? What are the things that we believe in and value? The strategic use of data, looking at a lot of different data sources and using them to make our best decisions about where we will go next. It's not just looking at state assessment data. It's about looking at iReady, looking at student surveys, examples of student work, hearing from teachers. What do teachers' lessons look like? A lot of different ways, conversations, just a lot of different things that, and ways for us to gather information so we can target what we need for each individual school. Then it's about researching solutions, right? Research it's not just about saying, let's think about doing this. It's about what are some of the opportunities that are out there that we can use to help train our building leaders and our teachers to get better. Organization, facilitation, and communication of professional learning opportunities. One of the things that my focus on this year is to making our teachers better at what they already do well. But it's about what are our next steps in moving our data to make sure that our students both make up for the learning loss that happened because of the pandemic, but also continue to build upon their knowledge. It's also about our teachers having time for new implementation, right? Getting their time to practice their knowledge and what they're learning and receiving assessment and feedback to both students and teachers. Okay, this is a visual about the things that we will be focusing on. Analysis of data. You'll hear me for a brief moment talking about reading. Reading is going to be our focus this year. I'm actually going to turn this over to you, Dr. D'Antona, because I am sweating. I need a minute for myself. You want to talk first? You want to say hello, at least? Okay. So I'd like to introduce Senator Liu before we go on, and I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Danielle. I am glad to see that this is taking place, and I want to thank the parents who are attending, either in person or virtual, to be part of this. I mean, the best way that the kids get educated is when parents are fully engaged as much as possible with DOE and educational staff. You know, Superintendent DiMango talks about this listening for. This is not the first time. I mean, our superintendent has always been accessible, and she's been on the ground for many years now, listening and watching very closely to what's happening in our schools. And I think this is a great credit to the new team that's been assembled here in District 25. And I think we have tremendous leadership and new energy to even better educate our kids. I always say I'm proud to be a product of District 25 myself. I was since kindergarten. There was no PTA back 100 years ago. But in any event, let's continue to make District 25 the excellent district it is. And once again, thanks to Superintendent DiMango, our wonderful principals here. Let's get to it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Lou. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Dr. Denton, so I can take a little bit of a break. So Dr. Denton is gonna talk.
I just need a clicker. Hi, everyone. So good evening, everyone. Just to pick up from where Superintendent DiMango just left off, in terms of our work and our focus this year, it's going to be on reading. And within the context of reading, supporting our inquiry work that we do in our buildings, so that we're targeting the needs of our kids, particularly those that are performing outside the sphere of success. So our children that are struggling, what are we learning from the data that we're analyzing from our assessments, and how are we using that data in order to make really good decisions? And that's what we're really focused on as a district. And we're going to do that in multiple ways and across grade levels. So it's going to look a little bit different for K to 3 than it does for 3 to 5. And also across grades 6 to 8. So for our children in the early childhood grades, we're going to really be paying attention to the 5 pillars of reading, with intentional focus on a couple of programs that are being used across our schools, especially our elementary and K-8s. And that's foundations and integrity. We're also going to be, and we're really super excited about this, we have upwards of 370, and that number continues to grow every day. 370 teachers that are going to be trained in letters, which is training to support our teachers in how to become really experts at what it is to teach children how to read. So we're really very excited about that training, and that's something that's happening across each of our schools in District 25. We're also going to be attending to MTSS across grade levels, particularly focused on what does instruction look like in Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And Tier 2 and Tier 3 are really those things that we're going to be attending to in terms of outside support for our children, with other programs other than what's happening in day-to-day instruction in the classroom. Grades 3 to 5, similarly, will be around the 5 pillars of reading in MTSS. We do have an added feature that we're really excited about, and PS 29 and 32 that are actually in the audience that we're going to be working towards, which is called the CLAVIS program. And CLAVIS is an intervention program for our English language learners in grades 4 and 5. We're really super excited about that because it focuses on children that are performing in that transitioning and expanding range of language proficiency. So we're hoping that this particular pilot allows us to get over the hump for those children in terms of their language acquisition. We're excited because it comes out of NYU and Boston University, and it comes with a great deal of research behind it. So we're excited about the implementation for that. And in grades 6 to 8, shifting the language from our children learning to read to reading to learn, with an intentional focus on close reading of text, so that our kids really are moving into that space of comprehension of that text, specifically focused on nonfiction and to MTSS structure. So this next slide is part of our work at the district level and the vision from our chancellor, particularly focused on reimagining the school experience for our kids, which our building leaders over many years have really been attending to and focusing on making our experiences for our children the best that they can possibly be. And as part of that is looking at what's really working in our schools, sustaining what's working, and then looking at the practices that are maybe perhaps not working as well and making adjustments to them. So our schools are in that space of really consistent ongoing learning. It's something that Superintendent DiMango truly believes in, and shares across the district for us. So regardless of who you are in the district, we take on the stance of learning. And that's exactly what we are looking to do in alignment with the Chancellor's vision. Prioritizing wellness and its impact on student achievement. You will see that all of our schools across the district focus on social emotional learning and wellness. Each of our buildings are also, much like our academic data, are using social emotional learning data to make really good choices about how we support kids in becoming the best that they can be, not only academically, but social emotional learning wise as well. And then partnerships with families. The goal of Superintendent DiMango is, as you can see, is to get out into the community and making sure we're making those positive connections with our families, hearing what you have to say, and then making the appropriate adjustments from naturally on. As part of this work and the alignment with the Chancellor's vision, one of the things that we did, we connected with our building leaders and really went through the lens of what is it that we heard our Chancellor say in relationship to the vision statements that he has? What are we currently doing as a district? And then most importantly, what can we do to improve? And as you can see, there are a number of elements that are on this slide that we as schools are doing really, really well. The one area where we had the fewest items that were listed was in terms of that parent and community engagement piece, which is why you see us now engaging in these listening and learning for across District 25, whether it's virtually or in spaces like PS 29 tonight. This is also super important. We've heard all of you parents, all of you that are at home, those that are here, the next set of accounts are super important for all of our families to make sure that if you haven't gotten the accounts yet, please make sure that you're touching base with your school, your parent coordinator. As information is very accessible inside of that platform, in the form of student programs, grades, all of those things moving forward when the program is fully implemented. Really super important that you have that. Plus, notifications are able to be sent right to you from this system so that you can hear everything about what's going on in your school from this platform. So we really strongly encourage you, if you don't have access yet and you're not sure how to do that, ask your building principal, ask your parent coordinator, and they will assist you as soon as they possibly can. So on this floor, Superintendent DiMango asks 3 questions of the community in terms of just gathering more knowledge and feedback from you. And those 3 questions, Superintendent DiMango is going to be asking herself right now as a custodian.
Thank you, Dr. Welcome back with my camera. It's not warm in here, but I'm warm, so. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Daytona. But our 3 guiding questions as a district is, and myself as your superintendent, what are we doing well? What areas do we need to strengthen, and what advice do you have for me? So tonight, I would like to hear your feedback or any questions that you would want to ask of me. And you can give me feedback during this meeting, or you can email to event@d25.nyc. or give feedback online at www.d25.nyc/feedback. Wait, is it there? Okay.
I have a parent. My parent wants to say something.
Perfect. Should we the mic? Hi. Do you want to come up? Or do you want to yell?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I can from here. I'm very happy with the education in this school, and my son is in the pre-K center, and I'm very happy with the education over there. The teachers are very good, but my only thing, when I remember when I was and they always start with in some place like this with the students, and they start to sing songs, Christian songs, and make us feel like relaxed in the morning. And when we start the day, we are like with our spiritual stability,
Yeah.
stable, and we can be good students with each other, so we are in good mood to learn and respect the older children and our teacher, and that was very helpful for us. And because that is my like how I feel like it's good if you share something like that in the school in the morning for students. That would be good because I know some students, some child has maybe difficult time in their home, we don't know. And when they come here, maybe they can relax in the morning with that and they can follow the day better in good mood. And that is how I feel.
And Mom, you know, I love that you're saying that, and it is something that we value in our schools too. We call it social emotional learning, and it is an expectation of myself as the superintendent that every school is doing some form of social emotional learning. We do have some schools that have what we call morning meetings or morning musters, where they get together and spend that time doing exactly what you're saying. Teachers will play music. Students will have the opportunity to kind of sit and relax and get ready for the day. They also have check-ins through a program called Ruler, where there's 4 boxes and students identify how they feel based on certain vocabulary words. So many of our schools do have that. I don't want to put Ms. Leakey on the spot, but I didn't know if you wanted to speak a little bit to what PS 29.
Yeah, I don't feel on the spot at all. Hi, thank you for sharing that. I'm happy to hear that. So while we don't gather in large spaces to sing songs, the superintendent is absolutely right. We do have something called mood meters, where we help children sort of come in contact with how are they currently feeling, what mood they're feeling, and then teachers are encouraging children to be able to discuss, you know, what may have happened that led them to feel that way and how they want to get into an area on their own bodies of where they're able to learn. We're also going to be, we play the bells in the morning before announcements, and we're also going to be doing some like school-wide meditation over the loudspeaker. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very important for everyone to center themselves.
And I too believe in the power of singing. If you come in my office, Dr. D'Antona and I are singing all the time to each other. It really.
Anyone else wants to hear this?
No, we don't want, nobody wants to really hear us singing, but honestly, I know when I'm very stressed at work, I sing, it helps me relax. I agree with you. So, we also have spaces in our schools for students where they can go and relax. They're called calming rooms, where the lights are low and there's special lights.
Actually, every classroom in our building has a common corner. A corner where children can go. There are activities, books, inspirational quotes, things for them to think about and do if they're feeling a certain way, if they're feeling unsettled. And it's just an opportunity to pull it together.
Yes, I understand that, but I feel like, you know, it's very hard for me as an adult. That it took me a long time to understand why I was feeling the things that I was feeling.
Yeah.
And I know it's very difficult for a child to understand what he's feeling. And that's why I put the example when I was a kid, they always put like it got meaningful. You saw your emotion, like you feel love, and it's more effective, and I think it less job because but maybe if you try, you say, oh, what happened to you, and they're going to be shy, maybe because their parents don't listen to them because they are working or something, and they feel very shy, and it's very difficult to open. But maybe it will work because it's very difficult to talk about something that you are doing.
Yeah, and Mom, you know what you're talking about too? And I'm so happy that you're saying this, because what you're saying to us is, I want to hear that my child is learning, but I also want to hear that he's taken care of emotionally. And that if he feels stressed, or if he feels sad, or if there's something that he feels negative, that schools are paying as much attention to that as they are to him learning. Yeah, and in school-wide, all children, absolutely. Yeah, and I want to let you know that we do think that's important too, especially now more than ever. So I want to thank you for that comment and for making sure that the public knows that that is an important value that our schools need to consider as well. Like how we start our day, how we know how our students are feeling, how we know when they're feeling stressed. Just making sure that they are relaxed and ready to learn, and that their feelings and emotions are attended to as well. So thank you for that. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for me? Yes, want to ask a question? No?
You want to know if I want
Did anybody ask a question online? No? Okay, no. Please feel free to ask a question.
Well, parent-teacher conferences, when they come up in November, will they be back in person?
No, so this year, and that is a really good question, and I want to thank you for asking that. This year, parent-teacher conferences are virtual. However, if a parent wants to meet with their child's teacher in person, you can contact your school. If PS29 would be your parent coordinator, the parent coordinator of many other schools, and we can make arrangements for you to meet with your child's teacher. There's another question?
You want to know if you can have your curtain? It wasn't.
I was here from 94 to 96.
And were these curtains here?
They were.
You know what? I will tell you, they don't make curtains like this anymore. I wish we could dye them, but it is something that we can talk about. I'll speak with Ms. Leakey about that.
Between PS29 and over here and 379, because I have both kids in both schools, they're phenomenal. The parent, the teacher communication is fantastic. And the only question I have with MS 379 is going to be that right now my 7th grader has a substitute for Spanish. And we're wondering, or I'm wondering, how long of a process that can be, because I know there's some regions, all that.
Yeah. So we, most of our schools in District 25 have hired all the teachers necessary, but you are correct. MS 379 is looking for a Spanish teacher. So everybody online as well. If you are a Spanish teacher, thank you, and you would like to work in District 25, the most amazing district in this country, please feel free to reach out to. Yeah, you can reach out to my office and go for the information. You know, yes, I actually want to have a conversation, something, Mom, that you brought up that I think is important, a conversation that I have with Ms. Leakey a lot. So we talk about, especially in College Point, parent engagement, and ways that we can increase parent engagement. So we hear from parents like you and the things that you value, what you want to see in your school. You know why? Because we work for you, and we work for your students. And my expectation, and I know Ms. Leakey is very good at doing this, is really making sure that parents feel comfortable coming to our schools. And I know there is a lot of love and care from the staff here, but when when I have events like this, they're not very highly attended. So I'm wondering, and I do want to hear from parents, what are some of the things that we can do to increase parent engagement here? And I'm not just saying PS29, I'm talking College Point in general, but like, how can we bring more parents together with us so we can hear the things that you would want to see in your schools, so we can make that happen for you? Do you have any advice for me on that? Why don't people come here when I have meetings?
I think because the parents, they feel like shy, afraid something, or I'm going to stay here and everybody wants to look at me, or it's very, and stay and reading Spanish status. It's very, and I think parents, they like, very better if I don't get in trouble. I think so.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, but you know what? So I know, Mom, I'm putting you on the spot, but please feel free to, I'm like, Mom, how did you feel to be able to say to us, like, this is something that I value as a parent, that I want my child to be exposed to, that we may not be doing, or that you may not know that we're doing. So like, how did it make you feel to be able to say that? I mean, I know you say parents are shy. I just want the parents of PS 29 to know that we want to hear from them. You know, it's why I'm here having this engagement tonight. So I'm hoping maybe parents like you guys can go back out to the community and say, like, our superintendent and our principal, we want you to come into the school to talk to us about ways that we can make the school better. Yes, Maria.
It's like, I think at the school, being here 17 years, we have really always a very good parent engagement as far as like, we have a lot of events, we do a lot of night stuff. I think the pandemic and the influx of a lot of new families, and part of what Mom is saying of rebuilding trust, of understanding, hey, it's okay if I come here, I'm new to the country. We have a lot of new parents to our country who have, you know, gone through different traumas to get here, let's just say. So now it's a whole new big environment, and I think us as a school rebuilding and showing, and again, because we've come from the pandemic where everything was basically, you know, at home, and oh, you can't come in because of this, or you have to show your right thing. So I think people start to get comfortable about, like, okay, I can stay home, I can go online, I don't have to do the Zoom, I can do the Zoom. And I think now it's about reopening the doors and getting the word out of it, like Mom, that she goes to the community. It's like, oh, I was at an event yesterday and it was nice and I could talk and I could feel comfortable. And that's a lot of the outreach that we're trying to do as a school as well. And just engaging them more and more of our parents are coming into the building now. And I think once they see that safety blanket that we offer, that we love community, we're here, there's nothing to fear within, you know, because remember, a lot of our parents are fearful of a lot of different things in this new environment of the country and as well as a school. And
so, yeah, and so thank you, Maria, for that. And one of the things that we want to get out to the community is that you should not be afraid to come to school, that nothing will happen to you when you come to our schools. And actually, our schools have a tremendous amount of access to resources that can help you. And I do know that some parents may be fearful of coming and talking to us, but we are not certain, you know, other types of agencies that you should be afraid of. We are, both our mayor and our chancellor want, and ourselves, it's who we believe in, just as part of our community. We want you to know that parents are part of educating a child, and without you, we can do it, but we don't want to do it without you, right? And so if we can get that out there to the PS 29 and the College Point community, I would love to do that, because I would really love to be able to connect more with all of you, to know the things that you need, so, and that your children need, so we can make sure that our schools have that for you. Yeah, question?
Elizabeth online says to attract more parents to the meetings, provide translators would be helpful.
Elizabeth, that's a great comment. We have translators here tonight. We have Spanish translators and Mandarin translators. So anytime you come here, we will have that for you. Thank you so much. And also Ms. Leakey at her meetings, she has translators as well. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Do you have a parent guide to foundations?
I think there is one.
I'm not trying to sound like a dummy, but I don't remember what diagram plans are, and you know, Maddie comes home and she's just like, I don't remember, and I'm like, how much?
So you know what, Mom? And actually, now this is where I'm going to open up the conversation. There are certain things that I think, where I say, so for example, one of the things that we're focusing on is a culture of reading and a community of reading, which means we don't just want our children to read in school. We want them to read wherever they are. Parents asking them to read signs, parents, asking them to read words wherever they are. So we want to encourage parents to participate and help us in building a culture of reading. Do I think that parents should know linguistics? Absolutely not. And so there are certain things that we should be doing in school, and then there are certain things that we should be supporting you with at home. So for example, to go over word blends and to teach parents about how to blend a word to support a student at home, to take these 2 or 3 letters and bring them together. That's one thing, but I don't think parents should have to know diagraphs in order to help their children with homework. So I believe that that's a good conversation as parents to have, to say, if you're sending that work home with me, I can't do that, right? And it stresses me out. I want to fight with my child. I'm not going to do it, right? So what are some of the things that should be taught in school and some of the things that a parent can do at home? You agree?
Yeah, I do agree, but we also do, every year, obviously things are pretty crazy. But every year we do, one of our parent workshops we do is a foundations workshop. Because lots of parents have, voiced in the past, and they have questions about what that means, what it looks like, what the kids are supposed to do, the airplane, the grass. So we will.
And you know what? I think what Ms. Liddy's talking about, there's 2 different things, right? To know about what is in the curriculum and being exposed to what the curriculum does is one thing. So you may see those words like, this is what we're teaching your child and why, what that means when somebody is learning language and learning to read. But a parent shouldn't say like, what was the diagraph again? Let me go through that so I can help my child. Like there's that difference. So I think, and I know foundations is something that a lot of parents do ask questions about, and that's why we're excited to talk about letters, because letters is training for teachers in conjunction with foundations, where it's about what your mind does as you're learning to read. So you bring up a really good topic, and something I think that we can talk about further is what should parents be doing at home? What?
Links to parents, even from our perspective, how we can make sure that they have some access to certain tools for themselves.
Yeah.
To view online and make them accessible digitally.
Yeah.
But you also have access to the teachers all the time. But yeah, be like, I read what you're trying to do.
Yes, can we talk about a schwa?
And I think that's the other thing with homework. Parents feel that they want their children to be able to do it, and if they can't do it, they want to do it for them or with them, but really for them, so that it's correct. And the purpose of homework is really so that teachers can see, what did you grasp in this lesson and what did you not grasp, and how can I support you? So children don't need to have everything correct. They just need to show what they can do. Parents sitting next to them, encouraging them, wonderful. Doing for them or feeling that it has to be correct, then we're not going to know what the child knows or doesn't know. So the teachers will say, your child doesn't know this problem, circle it. They'll come up with ways so that they know how to support your children.
Some teachers, my brother's child was in different regions. She was in the 27th district 27, and over there she had a teacher that she always fight with the parents. Don't do the homework.
Yeah.
They are 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I changed her now to the closer school, and in that school, I saw the difference. Like the teacher needs the parents to do the homework, and I feel that difference. With the, oh my God, the other teacher, if the parents, if they do something for the child, the teacher, she was okay. But I think the other teacher, the first teacher that she had, children a lot from her.
Yeah.
And with this teacher, I feel like she's a little bit people. Everything but made for the family.
Yeah, here?
And no, here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right, good. And we could talk more, so I know you said before that you're very happy, but you know, if there are things or you see inconsistencies, it's really important that, you know, you can always come and talk to me. You can always approach the teacher. I always say that's the first person that will help you with anything.
I have to, in here, they have very good education, but
Wonderful, thank you.
one time, and never happened to me again.
Well, thank you.
Very good, the children do everything but they did.
Yeah. All right, so everyone will tell parents, we want you guys here. So, and I do plan on having another meeting at PS 29. And I thank parents that did come here tonight, and I thank those of you who are online. And I look forward to another meeting, so thank you. I'm sorry I got hot.